Hello, everybody, and welcome back. My name's Nick Driver, and I'm a New Mexican. So today we're gonna be doing a two-parter because there's just a lot to talk about. There's a lot of news that went on. I'll catch up on that tomorrow, if not on Wednesday. But right now, I want to go ahead and introduce you guys and talk to you guys about the Congressional District candidates. So we got the first Congressional District going on, special election. There's 4 candidates that are basically taking part. We have Mark Moore, which is a Republican, Aubrey Dunn, which is the Independent, Chris Manning, who is a Libertarian, and Melanie Stansbury, who is the Democrat. Today, we're just going to be talking about Mark Moore and Aubrey Dunn, and then tomorrow we'll talk about Chris Manning and Melanie Stansbury. So before we get into this, feel free to hit that like, comment, subscribe, share this with everyone. We got a special election coming up June 1st that we need everybody to pay attention to. This is something that actually is going to matter. So let's go ahead and get into this. We're going to go over the Q&A through the Albuquerque Journal for all 4 candidates. But today, like I said, we're going to hit 2. Tomorrow we'll hit the other 2. We're going to start with Mark Moore's. So this is Mark Moore's. Political party Republican. He's in occupation healthcare, lives in Albuquerque. He's got an MBA and a BA at UNM. Relevant experience, state senator for 9 years, small business owner, chief of staff to Lieutenant Governor Walter Bradley, and staff to Congressman Steve Schiff. And you can go to his website to check things out. So let's get into this. I'm not entirely sure who asked the questions, but I'll try and make it easy to realize when the question's being asked and when the answer's being asked. All right, so questions. What should Congress or the federal government have in responding to calls for more justice in policing following the deaths of George Floyd and others by police? Mark Moore. I believe Congress can find bipartisan solutions to police reform. Those solutions include providing $500 million to departments across the country for body cameras and other targeted police reform. These reforms will improve our law enforcement system to help guarantee equal protection for all. Okay. Like that answer. What is the opinion of the coronavirus response packages, including the American Rescue Plan, which was signed by President Biden? Is there anything you would have done differently? I was on the front line battling COVID-19. Having personally collected thousands of COVID tests during the pandemic, I support the state's coronavirus response bills, including payments for essential workers, loan programs for small businesses, and waivers and fees for restaurants and bars that were shut down due to the pandemic. All right, simple, basic answer. I ain't gonna lie about that. It supports the things that happen, and for the most part, we did all right with our relief bills and whatnot. So I'm not too argumentative about that. But let's keep going. What actions to restore the economy, if any, do you feel Congress should take once the outbreak has been contained? Congress should promote policies that promote growth, competitiveness, and productivity. With our vaccination rate as high as they are, it's time for small businesses and schools to reopen. States need to safely and fully reopen so that the small businesses that were devastated by the pandemic can begin operating again. I agree with that one. With our vaccination rates and with the low mortality rate, it's time for things to open up again. We need to get out of this lockdown. We need to stop being locked down. So, what is your position regarding climate change? What action should Congress take, if any, regarding the environment? Congress should take actions to make energy more affordable, enact policies that promote innovation and cleaner energy infrastructures. That does not mean enacting broad policies that would kill American jobs or raise energy prices on Americans. It's true. Instead of killing all these jobs and destroying the economy and pushing a bill that does that, how about we start rebuilding the infrastructure and slowly weed out the jobs, but the Biden administration has issued a temporary moratorium on issuing new oil and gas leases on federal lands. Where do you stand on the issue? I am opposed to it. New Mexicans have 134,000 energy-related jobs. President Biden banned unfairly tax New Mexico. We rely on 134,000 jobs and 40% of the state revenue to fund our schools, roads, and law enforcement. This has been one of my arguments about the whole cut methane movement and the bans they're putting on it. They're destroying the oil industry here in New Mexico, and as you can see, that's 134,000 jobs, 40% of our state revenue. That how is it going to fund the things people are pushing if we don't have that revenue? Like I said, let's start building the infrastructure that we want, and then let's start putting in new methods. Okay? Yeah, there we go. So let's see. Next question. What are the most important actions Congress should take regarding people now living illegally in the U.S.? What about for those who want to come in? First, we need to secure the border. Washington has failed us for decades on this issue. I am willing to work with anyone, anywhere to come to a bipartisan legal solution that respects the rule of law and respects those who came to this country the right way. That's a good answer. I like that answer. Do you believe the borders are secure? Oh, I'm sorry. That's not. Do you believe the borders are secure enough? If not, what do you propose to increase security? The ongoing humanitarian crisis at the border, coupled with the severe problems from drugs here in New Mexico, proves we must secure our border as it is a national security issue. We must provide the DHS the resources they need, like technology and more manpower for patrols. Agreed. Do you favor a federal ban on sales of military-style semi-automatic rifles? If so, what would you do about the millions of such weapons now legally owned by American citizens? What other, if any, gun law reforms would you support? I oppose banning and confiscating commonly owned firearms from millions of law-abiding Americans who will use them lawfully. We should enforce federal firearm laws that are already on the books. That's a really simple and good answer. I don't know what to say about that. Federal spending plays an important role in New Mexico's economy. What should be done to increase other economic drivers here? New Mexico will not be able to have economic development with the crimes epidemic and out-of-control murder rate. No businesses will want to move here. That is why it is critical that we make our streets safer and improve our schools to attract economic development. Facts. Why would any business want to come here when the crime rate is going up? Not down, not stagnating, it's going up. Do you favor or oppose a national single-payer health system? Oppose. He opposes it. And I'm a little 50-50 on that one because, I agree we should have a healthcare system for everyone, but I still believe it should be an optional one where you should still be able to have private healthcare and choose what you want. But at the same time, I do believe there should be a baseline that the government provides. So, do you favor or oppose the withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan? In favor. Aren't we all? I mean, Trump wanted to pull them out already, but Biden's keeping them in until August. But hey, let's forget about that. Let's see. Do you favor or oppose limits on late-term abortions, and do you believe tax dollars should or should not be used to fund abortions? Yes, I favor limits on late-term abortions. Oh, man. Sorry about that. And I do not believe taxpayer dollars should be used to fund abortions. I agree. I'm sorry, but abortion is murder. And I understand we have to come to a compromise, so we do need restrictions on how long. In my opinion, you got 3 months. So if you can't decide whether or not you're going to keep the baby within 3 months, it's a murder, basically. It's a murder either way, but at the same time, it shouldn't be federally stopped, except if it's after 3 months. Unless, of course, there's complications and stuff that affect the mother. As for taxpayer dollar funding it, hells no. Hells no. Abortion should not be paid by me, by you, by any other person except for the people who were involved in making that baby. That is simple. All right, let's see. What should be done at a federal level to address the crisis of opioid addiction? Any other drugs? First, we must stop the inflow of drugs into our country, especially the methamphetamine that results in so many of the crimes that occur in New Mexico. Yet again, lots of these things that are problems can be contributed to crime, and here in New Mexico can be contributed to the lack of border security. Why do you want to be a member of Congress? I am a proud New Mexican with roots in this state that go back centuries. Lisa and I cherish this state. 2 of our daughters and our grandchildren live here. I want them to live in a safe and prosperous New Mexico so our great-grandchildren can grow up here. That's simple. That's the same with me. It's the same reason I started this channel, is to be able to express my opinion about these type of things, because I don't see our state becoming safe and prosperous. I see our state becoming the complete opposite, becoming crime-ridden and falling into the dirt. So here's a couple personal background questions they had for Mark. Have you or your business, if you are a business owner, ever been the subject of any state or federal tax liens? He answers no. Have you ever been involved in personal or business bankruptcy proceedings? No. Have you ever been arrested for, charged with, or convicted of drunken driving, any misdemeanor or felony in New Mexico or any other state? 33 years ago, out of high school, I was involved in an altercation and arrested. He was young and dumb and he did something stupid. So that was Mark Moore's Q&A. All in all, he had good answers. I liked his answers. He could be stricter on some things in my opinion, but at the same time, his answers were pretty good. But let's move on to the next candidate. I don't have much time for this video. I don't want you guys to be sitting here forever, so I'm trying to go through it quick. Hopefully, if you want, you can go to the Albuquerque Journal and see this as well and read it for yourself. I'm basically just spreading the news. So our next candidate is Aubrey Dunn. He's independent, DTS, rancher. Occupation is rancher. He lives in Torrance County. His education is a BS degree, Colorado State University. Relevant experience, rancher, banker, 25 years. Last 10 as president and CEO. Land commissioner, 4 years. Has raised 3 children in New Mexico, attending New Mexico public schools. Auctioneer's license in New Mexico. Real estate broker for over 40. All right, so that's Aubrey Dunn right there, and that's a quick overview. So now let's get to his questions and answers. What role should Congress or federal government have in responding to calls for more justice and policing following the death of George Floyd and others? End of qualified immunity. At the federal level, if a city-state determines that an officer violated their position as an enforcer of the law, states should be able to hold those officers accountable not only as a citizen, but as sworn officers of the law and communities they protect. I agree. I mean, if an officer is violating the law and Constitution, they should be prosecuted just like any other regular being. Now, at the same time, circumstances of the event need to be taken in hand. Context means everything. So just one incident where something happens and it's taken out of context and you destroy a person's life for it, that's just as bad in whatever situation it is, whether they're a cop or a regular person. Context matters. So as long as they're guaranteed a fair trial, I agree with that. A fair trial. That's the key. As long as they can get a fair trial. In other words, that's innocent until proven guilty. Not like what's going on today, where it's guilty until proven innocent, okay? All right, next question. What is your opinion of the coronavirus response package, including the American Rescue Plan, which was signed by President Biden? Is there anything you would have had done differently? I support the American Rescue Plan in addressing the unique problems this pandemic presents, such as supporting our healthcare heroes. That said, the bill goes too far in directing states with how they should use COVID resources. Such an overreach of federal power is a troubling precedent this administration is setting. We must start addressing our national debt. I like that answer. The federal government, they should give you aid, but they shouldn't be in complete control of your aid. But at the same time, I can understand why they want to ensure the aid goes to certain areas because that's why they're giving us the aid. So, but yes, we do need to start addressing our national debt, not adding 12 more years to it. What actions to restore the economy, if any, do you feel Congress should take once the outbreak has been contained? America is in an identity crisis, and Congress is no exception. Congress should be focused more on how best to support states, each of which has a unique set of needs and resources, not on interfering with personal choices or depriving individual citizens of their hard-earned property. I think he kind of dodged that question, but he does make the point about the identity crisis. That's interesting. And I agree, each of which has a unique set of needs and resources. Not all states are the same. I push for states' rights. I believe states should have more rights and more say about what goes on in their states, and the federal government should only really get involved when it involves state-to-state relations. Other than that, it's let the state do their thing, let the constituents of the states vote for what they want, and those who don't get what they want can move to states that have voted for things they want. It's pretty simple, right? All right. What is your position? Ooh, skip that one. Why are you doing that? I gotta stop clicking that button. My mouse is giving me crazy. Where did we go? Dang. Here we go. What is your position regarding climate change? What actions should Congress take, if any, regarding the environment? Congress should be on the forefront of addressing climate change. However, ominous bills like the Green New Deal do not work. As land commissioner, I was on the front lines of climate policy. We can use market-based approaches, streamline regulations, and work together to innovate new technologies to assist in creating systems to power our state and our country with clean energy. So, yes, we should be dealing with climate change, but not using ominous omnibus bills like the Green New Deal. Okay. All right. I want to see what plans he has other than just that, but okay. The Biden administration has issued a temporary moratorium. I can never say that word. Moratorium on issuing new oil and gas leases on federal lands. Where do you stand on this issue? As land commissioner, I use revenues from oil and gas leasing to boost our economy and public education. This moratorium will shift development from federal lands in New Mexico to private land in Texas, costing New Mexicans millions of dollars and thousands of jobs that we desperately need. Further, this moratorium will make the U.S. dependent on foreign oil again. I agree. Doing this type of stuff is making us less energy independent and more energy dependent on other countries, and that's not what we want. We want to be energy independent. We don't want to be beholden to any other country, which we kind of already are, but at the same time, we're not. All right. What are the most important actions Congress should take regarding people now living illegally in the U.S.? What about for those who want to come in? Our immigration system is broken and needs reform. Immigrants who want to enter legally and for lawful reasons work should be provided a pathway to stay here and pay into the system. That said, all immigrants, just like any U.S. citizen, can and should be held accountable if they commit crimes as a result of being here. No argument there. No argument there. Pay into the system, become part of the system, assimilate yourself. Do that, become American. I'm all for it. Let's reform it so we can make it better and easier for people. I agree. Do you believe the borders are secure enough? If not, what do you propose to increase security? The border problem is an issue which has transcended many administrations and at best can be slowed. As seen by the past administration and at worst a flood of people in crisis mode as seen by the current administration, it is impossible to completely secure the border. We should be using all tools available to stem the tide. I believe the previous administration actually proved that you can slow down and stop it and keep it under control. Well, the new administration has totally proven that their system doesn't work. Do you favor a federal ban on the sales of military-style automatic weapons or automatic rifles? If so, what would you do about the millions of such weapons now legally owned by American citizens? What other, if any, gun laws reforms would you support? No. Federal bans on firearms will not curb violence, but instead keep the good gun owners from protecting us from criminals that would not abide by a gun ban in any event. The Second Amendment is a constitutional right designed to protect us from a tyrannical government and self-defense, and it has fundamental liberty. Great answer. Great answer. I can't. That was a great answer. Okay. Federal spending plays an important role in New Mexico economy. What should be done to increase other economic drivers here? Being at the bottom of every list, last in education, rampant crime, and other regulations, makes it impossible to attract businesses to our great state. Over-reliance on federal funds leads our state to miss out on economic growth experienced by our neighbors. High federal taxes have hurt hard-working New Mexicans' businesses. I mean, him and Mark Moore both said the same thing. How are we supposed to get businesses to get here when we don't have much to offer their families? Do you favor or oppose a national single-payer health system? Oppose. U.S. citizens should be able to access private healthcare options across state lines, and we should break up the insurance cartels by increasing competition in the free market. In contrast, single-payer systems will reduce any American's ability to make the best medical decisions for themselves. Government has no place inside people's homes and personal lives. That was a good answer. I like that one. I didn't think about it that way, but yeah. I mean, increasing more competition in the free market would help. You know, that's one of the reasons why our healthcare system is so expensive, because there's no free market in it. It's owned by the drug companies and by the government, basically. Anyways, do you favor or oppose the withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan? Support. We have enough to focus on right here at home, and the Afghan government has made it clear they want to handle their own affairs. So who should trust and support them in doing so? Exactly. Okay. Do you favor? Oh, gosh, I did it again. Excuse me for my blunders today. I'm trying to get a lot done, and I keep messing up. Do you favor or oppose limits on late-term abortion? Do you believe taxpayer dollars should or should not be used to fund abortions? Here we go. I am pro-life. I oppose any amount of tax dollars used towards any expense related to an abortion. As such, I also support Mitt Romney's plan to support young families with a child credit that will significantly improve the livelihood of the family and child once they are born. Okay. Not only if we can just have a campaign about abstinence and actually teach children to keep their legs closed, respect themselves, but that's another story. But that wasn't a bad answer. What should be done at the federal level to address the crisis of opioid addiction, any other drugs? People with substance dependency should be encouraged to seek medical or professional treatment without fear or retribution from the government. I support diversion programs to provide more support to individuals and communities struggling with addiction, as well as their families, who have been deeply impacted by this epidemic as well. That doesn't really talk about the root of the problem, but I mean, I do want to help those people that are addicted, and we do want to get them off. But in the same time, we have to we have to find the root and get rid of the base of the problem. So, why do you want to be a member of Congress? As an independent, I do not answer to any party, which means my party is truly New Mexicans first. I think the partisan gridlock is destroying our country. I have the work ethic, I have the drive, and as a former land commissioner, I know how to make the government work for the people, not against them. It's pretty strong. That was a pretty strong statement right there. I like that one. All right. Here's a couple personal background questions. Have you or your business ever been the subject of a federal tax liens? No. Have you ever been involved in a personal or bankruptcy proceeding? No. Have you ever been arrested or charged with anything? No. All right. Well, those are my two candidates today, Mark Moore and Aubrey Dunn. You know, Mark Moore, the Republican, Aubrey Dunn, the Independent. I liked a lot of their answers. They had a lot of similar things, similar answers. Working together, those two would probably come up with a really good platform that we can run on. But yet again, we have they. I'm not saying that they can't run against each other, but in the future, if they should work together, I think they have some good things going on for them. I would have to say, out of the two, I would go with Mark Moore, just out of the blue. I mean, they both have, like I said, a lot of the same things, but I'm a little bit more towards Mark Moore right now. But yet again, tomorrow we're going to go ahead and talk about Chris Manning and Melanie Stansbury, and we're going to look into their Q&A with all those same questions. And, maybe I'll have a different opinion than later. But for now, have yourself a great day, and I'll see you later.